Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. We thank you very much, our listeners. We thank you, our beautiful listeners, our incredible listeners, our viewers. We thank you all. For those who have not done so, we ask you to subscribe, share, and leave your comment constructively. Remember to share to your loved ones, friends, and well-wishers. We ask you to be patient in this very particular video. Today we have a foreign journalist who is to answer questions from a Yoruba man of Nigeria who believed that his ethnic man, the president, is being attacked, that violence is being perpetrated against the Yorubas, but we don't believe this is correct. The criticism on the president of Nigeria is based on his previous activities. He has been known before this period, before he entered into the presidential villa. His activities is not new, but people are bound to criticize him. Even when he has a clean record, he is subject to be criticized. That is politics. Politics is not a do or die issue. In Nigeria, there is a different definition of politics. Politics is a different thing. It's based on ethnicity because there is no political cohesion and developmental integration in terms of Nigerian politics. That is why you see whenever there is politics mentioned in Nigeria, one goes to look at his ethnic background, if there is any ethnic representative, and what they have to derive. In the international community, politics is different. Definition of politics is based on government of the people, for the people, and monitored by the people, because it is the people that determines the fate of politicians in Western world. In African countries and Nigeria in particular, it is the politicians that determine the fate of the citizens, opposite of what it is in Western world. But this our friend, whose questions will be aired, and the journalist, a foreign journalist, will answer this question based on neutrality, because the politicians, especially those from Africa and Nigeria in particular, believe that they are not monitored by foreign journalists, by foreign politicians. In most cases, foreigners know much about the country where you come from. They have details of everything, provided they have developed the interest of your country. That is what we have to realize. But in Nigeria, the political election or elections and processes are not democratic, and volumes of laws passed by national assemblies are ignored. The rule of law practiced in Nigeria are also being ignored by the judiciary. Only few of them are sincere in dispensing the justice or justices. These are monitored by foreign journalists, by government of other countries. That is what is all about. Our questions should always be based on neutrality. We will give further analysis of what this Nigerian man asked the journalist to look into, and the journalist analyzed it the way he believed, the way he sees it, and the way he criticizes other governments of the world. We will look at these very questions and see what happened.
Viewer of your show for many years. I just wanted to say,
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, with regards to Nigeria, we need to be quite careful about it. Because, yeah, indeed, there were some discrepancies in the last election, but it's not enough to say who won or who did not win. I would just like to say, opposition to the current president has led to a lot of spike of violence against his ethnic group, the Yoruba people. And this is where we need to be careful as to how people frame the problems they have with the president. Because at the moment, if care is not taken, the way a lot of independent journalists, so to say, are framing these things up, it might lead to another brutal ethnic clash. And as you know, my country experienced a civil war in 1967 between the then breakaway Biafra region and the rest of the country. I'm afraid we might be heading in that direction again. So I would like you to please take a step back and actually review the dynamics to the last election. Because we can't say for sure that Peter Obi won that election. A lot of, we do vote on the basis of religion and ethnicity, but most Nigerians are Muslims, and we voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Whatever problems people have with him is fair, but he's the person most of us voted for. And I think the more people are going after him on a personal level, as against going for INEC, which is the body responsible for elections, civilians from my ethnic group are being targeted. And I just called because I've seen a lot of conversations surrounding him, and I want you to be aware of the risk he poses on the ground. Thank you.
Well, look, there's no question of me taking a step back. I'm merely hosting a show in which all kinds of people are invited. Every 5 minutes, I invite everyone to call the show to give their point of view. And you just have, very succinctly indeed, you have taught me something. I had absolutely no idea that Tinubu was from the Yoruba people. That's the only good thing about him. And my contempt for him has zero to do with the fact that he's a Muslim, and zero to do with the fact that he comes from the Yoruba people. These two things are the only two good things about him. I'm against him because he's a crook. I'm against him because he's a thief. I'm against him because he's a bagman for the bigger thieves. In Chicago, Illinois, I'm against him because he forged his election papers. I'm against him because INEC forged his victory in the election. Am I supposed to turn a blind eye to all these things because he's a Muslim, because he's a Yoruba, because this may lead to ill feeling to his people? When I express my contempt for Rishi Sunak, I'm not hating on Indian Hindus. I'm hating on Rishi Sunak for everything except the fact that he's an Indian Hindu. I parked that. I have no interest in that. I'm against Sunak for a whole range of other reasons. I'm against Tinubu for a whole range of other issues. Now, I invite all points of view to enter this debate over Nigeria. If we had a Moats Africa, we could do it exclusively every week on that show tailor-made for the African audience. But we don't have that, so we can't talk about Nigeria every single week, every single show. But we had David on in advance of the court decision. We've now had him on after the court decision, which I followed closely, and which was every bit as farcical as David Hundian described it. What are we supposed to do? Not do so? Accept that the greatest African country is run by a crook? A forger? No, I will never accept that. I have too much respect for all the peoples of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. You're welcome back to this very analysis. You have seen the foreign journalist has answered the question, he has expressed his view. It is left for you as an individual to express your own view. And these are the reasons why we enter into ethnic problems. Ethnicity runs across this very particular issue. We enter into problems because of ethnic bigotry. We don't see things the way it's supposed to see, but we see it in a way that it favors the ethnic group each person belongs. But that is not how it is. That is not how it goes. So we look at other factors and see what people think and see what people believe that is ethnic problem. Ethnic problem is,
and the agenda is clear. Let us try to calm the storm between the Yorubas and the Igbos in Lagos. It is an uneasy calm that pervades Lagos at this time. The disagreement is blatant. We cannot pretend that a lot of bad blood was generated in the course of the 2023 general election, especially the presidential and later the governorship election. During the governorship election, some people were attacked in areas that our friends from the southeast, the Igbos, were in majority, and they felt that this was done to ensure that the party of their choice did not win the election in those constituencies, in those areas. Some people were wounded, some people were beaten up, some people were stopped from voting. The truth is,
thank you, and you can see it has been expressed in Nigerian standard. These ethnic bigotries are the problems. Those who witness what happened will not say the truth, and they pretend as if it did not happen and that they are the victims. But we have used BKO to express some certain things that happened during the presidential election, for which this our questioner tried to overturn as ethnic war against their candidate. These are not the politics of civilized society. It is politics of crudeness. And if those who are in the democratic countries of the world are engaged in this very ethnic politics, and what they have in mind the ethnic politics will bring at the end, then you find out that it is very, very difficult to change system in Nigeria, because those who are in foreign countries, Western world, where democracy is practiced, is entangling ethnicity into the politics, into the inappropriateness of the political laws, rules and regulations of Nigeria. They are turning it upside down in order to favor their own man, the man from their ethnic background. You find out that it will be very difficult. Hard. For instance, Tinubu is a Yoruba man, and it is a Yoruba premier, or who come out to vie for premiership in the old Western region. Would they allow Tinubu to vie for, that is within the Yoruba enclave, to vie for premiership with all the problems they have enumerated? This man has enumerated. They won't allow him to vie for premiership in Western Europe, Western region. Also in the north, before they bring out somebody to go for premiership, he must be a man of clean character. The same thing applies in the eastern region. But with the encavement of Nigeria, of all these ethnic groups into one country, anybody of any character can come out, then the other ethnic group will support him. Or if he has ally from the other side, they will support him. And that is why Nigeria is not going to be good. It's not going to work. It's not going to be a country. Whether you stay, Nigeria stays in the next 1,000 years, the system will even degenerate to the level that it will collapse and there will be no government. Until Nigerians learn to overcome the issue of ethnicity, the issue of anything they know is wrong, but they want to make it good, it will never work. With this, we come to the end of this very program. We ask you to subscribe, share, and review the interview of this foreign journalist, and also think of it. People are disenchanted with what happens or goes on in Nigeria, and not every Nigerian outside understands the politics of where they are. Some will be there 100 years, they will never know what goes on in the country where they are residing. But all their feelings, all their mind is in Nigeria. And everything they do in Nigeria is in their brain, because they don't have any developmental change in their brain to articulate, to absorb a new system. Thank you very much. I ask you to subscribe, share, and leave your comment constructively. Thank you. God bless you all. Bye.